Welcome to Futro Hidden Movie Gems. I'm your host, Jordan Christensen. Surprise, mother effer! And I'm joined with my co-host, Nick.
It's full of crazies. I lock my doors.
Oh my gosh.
And that's from yours truly, Dexter Morgan, who's the best.
Sergeant Dokes died way too early. And you're saying he didn't die early?
I don't think so, man. Didn't he die
I felt like it was in season 1 or 2 at the very end. Remember that?
No, because Dexter framed him.
And then the whole boathouse exploded. I don't know. I just started rewatching it, and I'm dreading his death because I love him so much. I can't get enough of him. He's so funny. Nick, how about you talk about? I'm kind of curious actually how you came across this show. Like, when did you first watch it? Who told you about it?
Randomly.
You just heard about it
I had heard about it obviously a long time ago when it was first on TV, but I never watched it then because I just didn't watch TV, man. Like commercials, I was like, nah, man. You know. So I was just scrolling through, I think, Netflix a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, I need a new show to watch, man. I got nothing to watch. And I was like, Dexter, I heard that was decent, so maybe I'll just watch that. And of course, after like 2 or 3 episodes in, I got hooked like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I left the house until I finished it.
Me neither. Oh my gosh. I remember that was literally all I would talk about at work. I would tell everybody, I was at an interview for a job, and they're like, so what do you like to do? And I'm like, right now I'm just watching Dexter.
Dexter. Well, then, of course, 2 years ago, I watched it all over again, and my mom had stopped by to visit, and as she was leaving, she noticed Dexter was on the TV again. She's like, you watching this show again? I'm like, yeah. And it's probably going to be again after this at some point. I'm not ever stopping Dexter. And now that New Blood is out, and I was so excited because I watched it every Sunday. That was my Sunday thing for like 10 Sundays. Now I have nothing to do on Sunday. In fact, I woke up...
Nothing to do? What are you talking about?
Well,
you can go to church now.
I'm always busy.
Yeah.
But nothing to watch, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I woke up a couple Sundays ago and I got up and I'm like, oh no, Dexter's not on anymore. I already watched the last episode. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, I'm going to watch all the original stuff again, because it's been a couple years and I forgot most of it. And then on top of that, right after I'm done with that, I'll watch New Blood all over again.
Yeah.
By the time I get through all 8 seasons of Dexter, I'll already forgotten mostly about New Blood. And I'll be like watching it all over again.
Yeah, I just started rewatching it from the first season, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this show so much. And yeah, like you said, I had forgotten a lot of things. My first time watching this is, believe it or not, so when I was in the MTC for our church, it's like the training center before you go out on your mission for 2 years. And
that's what you were watching?
No. No. You're with your companion 24/7, and so we were just talking about different things, and I was telling him I'm like obsessed with movies, and he was telling me, well, he's like, there's a really good TV show, and he's like, based off of all the stuff you've told me, he's like, I think you'd really like this show. And he was right, because right when I got home, not right away, I mean, it kind of eased into movies and stuff, but eventually I'm like, oh yeah, because it was on Netflix, and I remember him mentioning the show that I would really like. And so after the first episode, I know you said a couple episodes it took you to get hooked, but I was hooked after the first one. I'm like, oh, this is right up my alley. It's such a clever idea. A serial killer killing serial killers. Like, that essentially sums it all up. It's so good.
It is perfect.
Yeah.
And I love how he just I love that, how he narrates what he's doing and things like that.
Yes.
That is so... that's what kind of drew me in, because I don't remember seeing other shows that did that, or where it was like a main thing of the show. And it was really just like getting inside the mind... his mind, and going through as he's doing these things and why he's doing these things, and explaining how he's doing these things in his code, and going back and forth with that and going through the rules and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is really cool, because now it gives you kind of 2 dimensions to see or hear.
And it's done so well, because I know a lot of people that narrate, they're just literally saying what you can see on the screen. But instead, like you said, you're diving into his psyche, and you're getting a better view of why he does those things, and like that constant craving. And I feel like everybody has some sort of addiction to something, whether it's social media, sweets, whatever it is. Like this guy, it's killing. I mean, but at a certain level, you can kind of relate to him. And also... there's a separation, because when you're watching a show, like, I love vigilante stuff. I'm not advocating and saying it's okay to do in real life, But all the time, I'm just like, yes, kill him, please.
Yeah.
Because you just want him to rid the world of such like horrible wickedness, you know?
Yeah.
Because some of these villains are, I mean, I honestly think he's doing the world a favor getting rid of them.
He was doing them a favor, and I was so much on his side. Anybody that got in his way, I'd be like, kill them too, get them all. Dexter, you must live.
Oh, I know.
You must not go to jail. You must prevail.
Is that horrible? In this
No.
last season, if his girlfriend, when she was like trying to get him locked up, I'm like, oh, just kill her, please, just kill her. Like, I was getting so upset at her because she wanted to lock him up.
I wasn't actually upset with her. I thought maybe she would help him. Not, spoiler alert, kill him. No.
Well, it wasn't. It was the son.
She didn't kill him. That's right. The son did. Oh, see, I'm already forgetting stuff. I should just watch it all over again.
Which I'm like, I get it. It's like somewhat poetic. It's like, oh, his son ended up doing it. But at the same time, I'm like, did he have to? I get it because he's supposedly broken his rule. Like he said, only kill bad people. And then all of a sudden it starts flashing, like you said, the people that got in his way that started to figure out who he was. And so he ended up killing them.
But I thought in the old episodes he had taken out people questionably that weren't necessarily bad. I
don't know, because his dad was always like, make sure you have enough evidence that they killed him. Then you have to get the confession. Remember, he's got all the rules, which I think
Those
is
are the rules. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just remember maybe there being a couple of times he might have broke them. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, he did. I mean, they at the very end of this last season, you see flashes of the innocent people that he killed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they showed a flash of his sister. I don't think that was necessarily his fault. And his wife, like, he didn't get them killed. Like, well, I mean, he did by being in their life and meeting the serial killers and letting them live. Like I'm already forgetting his name. That's so sad. I can hear his voice in my head. The guy from Third Rock from the Sun and Shrek. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts. Lord Farquaad. Do you know who Lord Farquaad is? Who does that voice?
I don't remember. Come on now.
I know, this is terrible.
Who are you asking?
John Lithgow.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. I don't know. I love this TV show. I watched the whole series. I'm actually looking forward to watching it again. Like Nick said, once I started, I got so little sleep. I was just up so late. Just like as soon as the episode ended, I started on the next one. I was just I was up so late. And then I pass out because I was so tired. And then I just started all over again. Okay, Nick, 2 of your favorite things about this show. I feel like there's so many.
Well, obviously, again, the narration. And that's number one for me.
Oh, yeah.
That was just so cool. And
have you watched the TV show You?
Yes, and I love that show.
Yeah.
Also because of that very same reason. That's probably why I love You so much. I'm like, You, man. I'm like, dude, I watch it. I know when it's going to come out. I woke up last season that came out.
Wait, do you say you love me? Or are you saying you love the show You?
I love the show You.
But I gotcha.
You're a nerd. Anyway, I would say just the second thing. I don't know, man. It's just, there's so many things.
Did I throw you off with that comment? I did.
A little bit.
Well, while you're thinking of your second thing, I'm going to talk about mine. Now, going back and rewatching it, although I actually really do love this new season, and I kind of love that I'd say they still have a lot of the parts that I love from the old series, from the first 9 seasons, but it has these little changes that I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. Like, I would always skip over the theme song because it's so long, and I feel like it's like one of the longest theme songs ever. But I guess that was kind of a thing back in the day. There was a lot of long theme songs with movies, or I mean TV shows. I feel like they've gotten shorter over the years because people just don't want to sit through a long time, because we're so used to binge watching everything and just getting straight into it. I do the same thing when I edit my own films. Is when I made a couple shorts, I would throw in just random really quick clips of just like exciting moments in the movie, and then I put it right at the beginning. I put it right before the title, but I love how they put up the title and then you just see a flash of things to come, and I'm always like a little nervous. I'm like, oh shoot, are they gonna spoil something? But it's really exciting. It kind of gets me amped for the episode. And then I love how the new blood like slowly gets more and more bloody, and it's frozen, it's like cracking. It reminds me a little bit of Lilyheimer, which is a gangster that tries to hide, like he gets in the protection program, they send him out into the middle of nowhere, and he ends up still doing his gangster stuff, but he does it out in this frozen tundra, just like Dexter, kind of hiding out in the middle of nowhere, still doing his thing. But it's kind of fun though that he's like trying to essentially overcome this, addiction to kill. or this need, or his dark passenger, as he calls it.
His dark passenger.
Yeah. There's so many fun characters throughout this show. You mentioned it on our last episode that his sister does have, like, she gets annoying at times in the newest season. And rewatching the older series, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I really love their dynamic and how funny she is. So yeah, seeing her in this newest season, she is kind of like in the way all the time. You're like, get out of here. It's like all those negative thoughts that you're just like stop talking. Yeah, it's a bummer that she, all these spoilers, people I guess should expect that listening to us, but his sister dies at the very end of the series, which the first time I watched that, oh my gosh, I just bawled my eyes out. And I was just like, no, you can't kill her.
I know.
I loved their dynamic.
But when he was riding off that last episode, last minute, riding off into the storm, you're like, oh, it's keeping it open. There's still a chance.
No, but if you've probably forgotten this, but they actually show him in a podunk town in the middle of nowhere with a beard.
I did forget that.
Yeah, because they essentially set this newest season up, but I don't know.
Took him forever.
Yeah, it took him forever to finally pick it up again. And I just don't know why they decided to end it. Like, I just feels like maybe he's done, He's like, I can't do any more of this. No.
What really happened was he comes back to life.
And then, beaten death or something?
He didn't die.
Oh, you're saying after he was shot?
Yeah, by his son. He didn't die.
That would be dope. I hope so.
I think he did die, but I think he did. And it starts a whole new story with Harrison.
I don't know. Harrison's okay, but he's not Dexter.
Of course he's not Dexter. So you think they only did one season?
It said it was a miniseries, then I checked on IMDb. It didn't say they had anything announced for a second season for it.
So that sucks.
I know, right? That's what I think.
I think it's gonna gain so much popularity. They're gonna be like, we gotta bring Dexter back somehow.
I know.
We gotta say he didn't die.
I hope so, because I'm obsessed with the show, and when they said they were bringing it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was in heaven, because I was so excited. Because with the third season, it's kind of there's all this relationship drama, which I guess there's a lot of that actually in Dexter. Now that I think about it, when he's dating, I don't think I've ever been more upset and so mad at a screen. And I was just furious when he was dating that psycho chick who she ends up being kind of a serial killer too. Not the one that runs away with his kid and dies in Argentina, but the other psycho chick. I don't know if you remember her, but she tries to escape and then he finds her in Mexico or something and kills her. So good.
Vaguely remember it.
Yeah, but she just drove me nuts. I was so upset. They just have so many good villains. And that was a different choice they made with this newer season. Is in the older 9 seasons, it's every episode he would kill 1 or 2 people, and then there was an overarching villain throughout the whole series, which I guess this one sort of did, because occasionally somebody would die, but it seemed like he was able to kind of overcome that. And then there was more family drama. I don't know. That was interesting, but... Did you think of a second thing, Nick?
Yeah, I love they brought it back.
They brought what back? Oh, the show.
Back.
Yeah.
They brought the show back.
I know.
No.
I agree. It was fun. And gosh dang it, if it didn't have an amazing payoff at the end, I always love when they, the whole 7 horses, are they called 7 horsemen of the apocalypse? And all those dead bodies are all on the horses, and there's that big epic show. Or when there's a serial killer presenting the bodies without any blood, and Dexter's getting all crazy into it, and he's I just love Bautista, and I'm so glad they brought him back in this last season.
Bautista, yeah.
Sergeant Bautista, yeah, and he's
he captain now or something?
Yeah, and I love when he's looking at Dexter when they're at that hockey field, and there's the body parts laid out, and then Dexter's enjoying this way too much, and he's like, you seem to be liking this a little bit too much, and he's like, oh, I'm just so happy to be on this hockey field. And he's in the stadium. He's like, I didn't know you were a hockey fan. And he's like, yeah.
Talking about Batista, man, my heart dropped when Dexter's cop girlfriend, whatever her name was, went to Miami and spoke with him. And they were having a conversation. And he gets up from the table, and he was mentioning that Dexter had a son but couldn't remember his name, and she was just kind of whatever. And then he walks away, and he's like, Harrison. His name was Harrison. And that's right then I knew it was all over for him. I'm like, oh, this is going to spiral downward for him now. 'Cause
Yeah.
now she's going to look at him.
Well, and when he killed Coach, I was like, oh no, why'd you have to kill Coach? Coach was a good guy. But, he had to get out of prison because he was...
He did have to get out of prison. I'm like, oh, Dexter's broken free. Oh, boy.
I think he could have escaped and they could have made more seasons, but whatever.
If they were only going to do one season, like you said they're going to do, then he had to go all out. And that last episode was awesome.
It was so good, yeah. Dude, if there was ever an actor born for a role, he just fits this role so perfectly. And I also wanted to mention, I was thinking about how ironic the show is constantly. Because you were talking about the thoughts in his head and stuff. All the time, it's so fun to hear what's going on in his head because he is constantly finding it out. When somebody's saying something like I mentioned that hockey field, or somebody else would say when they would kind of get onto him or think he might be the one, he would always have something clever to say. And he was so quick to come up with a response and just play it off nothing because he has no feelings. So
no, and he's brilliant. There's so many times in the first season, or not the first season, the first set of seasons.
Yeah, 9.
That I'm like, how are you going to get yourself out of this one? You're screwed, buddy. Come on, Dexter, no! And then he just somehow gets through it, just slips right past. And I'm like, okay, this is why this lasted 8 seasons.
Yes, yeah.
You know why? It was interesting. On my plane ride back from Vegas, I didn't lose that much money, but I didn't win money. But anyway, I went there for a work thing, so it doesn't matter. But that was just nighttime off stuff. That was a crazy trip. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I was watching the movie Paycheck on the way back, and guess who I saw? Freaking Dexter Morgan. He's in there. He's one of the FBI agents.
That's right. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was like, and then it's just crazy.
He wasn't a blood spatter analyst, I'm assuming.
No, it was just a regular FBI
Okay,
agent.
they're not connecting the universes.
And I think this was before they did Dexter. When did Dexter start? 2000.
Yeah, it's pretty old, actually. I got it right here. 2006.
2006. So Paycheck was in 2003. So what if it was, Paycheck that made it all happen for me?
That would be awesome. That's great.
Made Dexter happen. I don't know what else he was in beforehand, but...
Yeah, I've seen him in a few different things, make an appearance here and there. What? He was in Ozark? When? Was he really in Ozark?
Was he?
Is he in Better Call Saul? What the heck? All these shows I watch, I don't remember him.
He
was in Breaking Bad. He was in The Office. I don't remember any of these appearances. Lost? All these shows that I love. Fargo? Okay. I didn't know that.
So he's more of a G than we thought.
Yeah. Well, I guess... yeah, he must blend in pretty well because I was going to say, I feel like now that I know him, I feel like the only person I can see him as is Dexter. Because when I saw Gamer and he was the villain in Gamer, I'm just like, that's Dexter. I can't think of him as anybody else. But
no, it's always going to be Dexter.
Yeah. I wonder if at a certain point you're like, do I want to have... maybe he wants to have a different name, Or maybe he loves coming back to the role. I don't know. I love him as Dexter, and this show's amazing. I'm trying to think. Got any nitpicks? Nick?
No. Not on Dexter.
You sound offended that I didn't ask.
Yeah.
The girl that he's dating in this last season, she is the girl from Wind River. Have you seen that one, Nick?
No.
That was a crazy movie. If you want to watch a good movie about revenge, Nick, dude, I know you love a good movie with revenge. You need to check out Wind River.
All right.
But
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. This show is so much fun. Looking forward to rewatching it. I want to say I highly recommend it, but obviously not to people who are sensitive with... it is TVMA, so it's got a lot of mature content. So
No, it's recommended for everyone. E for everyone.
No.
I think so. TBE. That's what it was rated. You wouldn't let your mom watch this?
No. Oh my gosh, no.
Your mom would love Dexter because she would understand that he's a good guy.
I'm surprised I tried to get Cameron into it. Cameron loves serial killers, so it's just shocking to me that he doesn't love this show more. It has a certain level of camp to it, so maybe that's why he doesn't love it as much. But so we end every podcast talking about what we've seen lately and what we're looking forward to. Nick, what have you seen lately?
I haven't really seen anything lately. I just got back. I didn't watch TV in Vegas.
You didn't watch any TV?
I didn't have any time for no TV in Vegas, man. It was work in the morning and then party at night, work in the morning, party at night. What do you want me to do? I don't got no time for TV.
I got no time for this.
Sometimes I forgot how I even got back to my hotel room. I just wake up, be like, what? No, I'm just kidding, but maybe not. What have you seen lately? What do you recommend?
Wind River. I just mentioned that. I started Yellow Jackets. It's kind of funny. Like,
I tried Yellow Jackets. I got through 5 minutes to turn it off.
I know it's like it's interesting, but I don't know why it has such high reviews or ratings. Like, maybe you have to get past the first episode. But I watched the first episode. I'm like, I kind of already know what's gonna happen. Like, you know, that one girl's watching the rat in the pool, and she's clearly the psychopath, and she's going to convince everybody else to become cannibals, and then they're just going to start eating each other because they don't have enough food. I don't know why they don't try searching for animals. Maybe they can't, or it takes, you know, skill to hunt for animals, but I feel like you wouldn't resort to eating people, but I guess if you got starving enough. And then let's see what else I watch. I rewatched One Punch Man, which is so good. I wouldn't recommend it to you, Nick, because I know you don't like anime, but it's so good. I love it. I rewatched The Guest, which I freaking love. Oh my gosh, dude! I can't wait till
The Guest.
I can't wait till we talk about Adam Wingard's films. Oh my gosh.
Except King Kong, we can't talk about that one. We're just gonna pretend Adam Wingard didn't do that movie.
Do that one?
Like, Adam, that wasn't you, man. That was you being influenced by some other jack.
Well, I still enjoyed the visuals. Like, the fights between Kong and Godzilla were cool. The story, though, is...
I didn't make it that far.
Oh, really?
I didn't make it
you
past
the best part, then.
No, I couldn't make it. And you know what? Worst part about it is I was on a freaking plane. I could have anything would have given me entertainment. However, so I couldn't. I was like, screw this. There's got to be something better on.
Yeah.
And there was. I can't remember what I watched, but it was definitely better. They got good movies on those Delta flights, man. You know, they got the nice little screens. Listen, I just flew American Airlines, and I was so mad they didn't have any of the freaking screens. I was so ticked, and you know.
Oh yeah, Delta does, but the other.
Delta does, but American Airlines doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think Southwest does either. So.
Garbage. And I would have flown Delta, but it wasn't my choice, so I didn't have a choice of what plane.
I also watched God Bless America, which I was recommended by an old roommate. I don't know. It's about a guy that just kind of
sounds lame.
Goes crazy. Well, so he gets fired from his job because he gives a girl flowers at his work, and
that's a big no-no.
I know, apparently, and because she was sick or something and had a bad day, and he thought it would cheer her up, and so she told him.
But he thought wrong.
And he gets fired, and then he starts killing Instagram psycho chicks because he just
sounds like this guy's the one that has a problem.
There's times it made me laugh. I don't know. I like dark humor, but I wasn't crazy about it. And then I rewatched Manhunter. I've seen it like a billion times. I love that movie so much. If you like serial killer movies, which we're talking about right now, but it's pretty old school, which I know could be a turn off for some people. But
how old school?
Let's see. It was made in 1986.
Yeah, it's a little too old school for
me. But it's so well made. The music, oh my gosh, is amazing. Made by the same guy that did Heat. Oh, and then Nick, I went and saw Jackie with my wife in the theater. The fourth one.
Yeah, I heard someone else saw that. How was it?
I don't know. Do you like the older films?
I mean, in the background, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, this might be a good background movie, but...
Did you see The Matrix yet?
Yeah, it was so bad.
Was it bad?
I
haven't seen it, obviously, because I don't go to the theater.
Well, do you like the other ones?
I like a couple. I like the originals, yeah, sure. But those came back out in a time. I haven't watched them recently. It's been like probably 15 years since or not that long, but
I mean, it's been a
long time.
We ended up walking out of the theater because I was so bored. I was like, this is the most boring movie because literally it's getting all meta and it's about the girl who directed the film, like playing the main character. And she just complained the whole time that she didn't want to make the film.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, but some of the action was cool, but like as is most of the Matrix movies. But I just felt like a lot of it was CGI, and so I just kind of got bored really quick. Whereas the older films, I felt like they were just some really creative, cool action sets. You know?
Yeah.
That first scene when they're just shooting up the police station or the security guards. or whatever. That was so crazy. Oh my gosh.
So you're saying there's nothing that's come out recently that's super good that I should go watch?
I mean, Jack AI may forever when it comes out. Yeah, watch it if it hits like a streaming service or something. The commercial, I was kind of bummed because the trailer showed all the jokes, and so I was just like waiting for those jokes. The only ones that didn't show were all the jokes, and there's a lot of those.
You brought your wife to that?
Yeah, she even said as we were walking out of the theater, she turned to me and goes, "There was a lot of."
Yeah, and she's like,
Jeez. No, well, actually, what she said, she's like, after seeing that, she's like, I realized all men.
oh, jeez.
Oh, it was just, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, I love the opening scene, freaking hilarious. Reminds me of Chillerama, which has a very similar ending. There's just like this giant, and in this one, there's like a Godzilla, but it's just the guy's, and then everybody's like shrunk, and then it like. A good friend of mine said a lot of the jokes are the same. They're just kind of, they did a little spin on them. And it's true, like, Andy said there was way too much nudity, so.
Are we still talking about Jack?
Oh, yeah. You thought I was talking about something else.
I thought you went on to another show that showed a lot of too. I was like, what are you guys watching?
No. And then the last show I watched was a movie called As the Gods Will. And somebody online said that Squid Games was a ripoff of it, and that is not true. I watched the whole thing, and the only similarity is that they play red light, green light at the beginning, and you die if, you get caught. But the thing is, when they die, their heads explode and turn to marbles in this one, and it's like a god that comes from, I don't know where it came from, but it like shows up and they play red light, green light. And it's a very different take on it. And then after that, it like is completely surreal. Whereas Squid Games at least is like somewhat grounded in reality. Like sure, where they are is like, how on earth could they hide this place? But at least you're like, okay, this could happen. Like maybe, I don't know, if maybe enough rich, wicked people like built a place and bought an island. Like what's that one Jeffrey Epstein thing?
What?
Didn't he buy an island and then take a bunch of kids there?
I don't know.
You watched a million documentaries on Netflix, the Jeffrey Epstein.
I've seen that one, but I don't remember him taking him to an island.
Oh, was it not an island? I thought that's what I heard. I haven't seen it.
I believe his Florida home was.
Oh, it's just a home. I thought it was an island.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. He took him everywhere. Whatever. The guy was a freak. Who knows?
Yuck.
He was,
a sick man.
You know who's also as bad as that Bill Cosby, man? I watched that documentary, actually, when that came out.
Oh, no. There was another one about Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I think it was on Hulu, but on the Showtimes. I think it just came out recently, and it was like, We Need to Talk About Bill Cosby is what it's called. And they just basically went through the whole thing of, like, the starting of his life, first moment he hit, the first stage he hit, and how it all started. So this was a really good way. And then they what was really kind of cool about this documentary is they were going back to like old interviews and old things that he said in interviews and stuff like that, and radio shows and whatnot, and even in his TV shows, some of the things he said, and they look back and like, how did we miss this? All these different people, how did we miss this? He was telling us, in so many words that he drugs but nobody did anything about it, but he was talking about it. He was clearly talking about it. So it's really crazy just to kind of see it all fall back and then hear the full story of it, and just to be like, dude, this is what this guy revolved his life around, was doing this. And I think his entire image was so that he could continue to do what he was doing unstopped. And it unfortunately, for the most part, it worked, because they didn't put him in cuffs until he was freaking almost dead and he's blind, and he just got out. So, I mean, he did this for 30, 40 years, got away with it, and I think his whole thing could have been an act, so people saw him as this really good guy, this trustworthy guy, so he could keep doing this, because he was doing this for, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people will argue that he did a lot of good things for a lot of people, but I mean, he probably did a lot of good things. I think he did do some really good things. He was very involved in education, so And he was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed his comedy specials, but now I've got enough to stomach thinking about all this other stuff he's done. As you were speaking, I totally remembered, you reminded me of a few things from Dexter, and I was thinking about because you're talking about these crazy, sick people, I was thinking about John Lithgow's character. It's kind of fun that he played as a serial killer, because he actually has like 2 other films where he plays a serial killer, and he's in Blowout, which is a film that I absolutely love, and he plays a psychopath in that one as well. And then I just loved the ending of this final season was so cool. All those like girls displayed on all those, like, it looked like almost little dolls, like they were in those little like glass cases or whatever. I just feel like that final reveal, when you see them all, you're like, oh shoot, like this guy's been doing this crap forever.
Yeah.
They give you glimpses of that he's been like killing these girls and stuff, but you just don't know how long he's been doing it and how many and what he's been doing with the bodies.
And what he's doing with them, yeah.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, when he messed up, when he was trying to, because he shot the girl in the face, and I was like, why is he freaking out? And all of a sudden, and then he starts punching her thing, because he's like, he tried to put like a
little ceramic or something or whatever piece
something on her face, and then he got so mad, he started punching it. It's such a crazy fun show. If you liked the first 9 seasons and you're debating whether or not to watch the new season, highly recommend the new season, because if you like the old stuff, it's good.
Yes, it's very good.
It is a little different, but you still got Dexter, and he's still himself. Like, he's still here inside his head.
I didn't feel like it was all that much different. I warmed up to it real quickly, actually.
Well, it's just as I'm going back and rewatching the old stuff.
It reminded me of like the old stuff a little bit.
Yeah, but you just kind of miss out on a lot of that dynamic with his sister, because yes, you do still see her.
It's a whole different setup, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and living in Florida, like the city life, and I just felt like it had not a different pacing, but it had like I said, I guess I've already mentioned a different dynamic, because you don't have like Bautista. I mean, I know he does make an appearance, which I'm really happy about, but it's kind of it actually kind of fits, because he's in like a smaller town, and so everything's kind of a bit slower paced, like things just move differently. Mm-hmm. It's just fun. It's harder for him to get away with things unless you're like that rich psychopath. Because in the city, it's like people go missing all the time, and there's just so many people.
Right. And he knew that city. I mean, he knew this town well, but he knew that city really well, and he knew how he could get away with it.
Yep.
And he had, the lowdown with the police, which is funny because he did in this situation too. He was dating the police chief.
Yep.
So he's always connected to the police, which gives him an edge over things.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's everything. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.